Freestyle Friday! We made it. Good morning, everybody. Look at
Good
me
morning.
between the girls, Shayna and
Good
Jenny.
morning, EJ. Good morning, Jenny.
It's a thorn between two roses. Good
Do you want to stay?
And I'm
morning.
and I'm one of those roses I dipped into several different colors and they're super pretty. I just need some glitter now.
I don't even know where to go with this. You know, they say, happy wife, happy life, and neither of you are my wives, although you are wives. Uh, most of us learn that if we just shut up and just let y'all talk, you're happy.
Okay.
So
Well,
I don't know. Maybe I'll
you
do that. Maybe I won't.
you
We got some of our friends checking in. Say hey to everybody.
Morning,
Got your
Jeremy.
six appliance repair.
Biggie.
I love it. I'll tell you what, that's my favorite name in the industry, I think. I wish I would have
It's a
done
cool
something like
one.
that. Thank you, Jeremy. Adam up there in Wisconsin, I believe. Joe, thank you for joining us, Joe. Fred, thank you for
Good
joining
morning.
us.
That's a very
Morning.
happy morning right there.
Yes, we're glad to have you guys. So if you're watching, you want to see your name on the big screen, just drop a comment and let us know who you are, where you're from. And today on the morning grind, we talk Bible and business. And today the topic is people.
Hmm.
Pretty, pretty, pretty broad topic. So I bring to you a quote from Zig Ziglar, and then we'll have Shayna pray, and we'll talk about a couple of little scriptures, and then we're gonna talk about people. You know, you always want to talk about people, so we're gonna do it today, and that's what we're gonna do. Oh shoot, Doug, EJ looks smarter surrounded by these people.
And
If
Doug
I
would
could,
know. He spends a lot of time with us.
Thanks, Doug.
they, they are both very very smart. Paul Hartland, his name is on the big screen. Bam, we got it.
Right.
All right. So the quote, Zig Ziglar: "You don't build a business, you build people, and people build the business.
Yeah.
People matter."
Yeah.
And now we're gonna spend the rest of the day talking about people. So, Shayna, would you do
Yeah.
the honors and pray
Yes.
for everybody in the industry? And
Yes.
let's also remember the Kecklers. She lost her husband a few days ago, and they're working through the process. You know, there's lots of things to do, and it's just a sad, sad thing. So,
Okay. Father, I thank you and I praise you for this glorious day, no matter if it's rainy or sunny, wherever we are today, Father. And I give you just the praise and the glory for allowing us to wake up today with breath in our lungs and be able to get out there and be be there for you, Father. Father, just guide our footsteps. Lead us and guide us and let us go in the direction that you want us to go. And I bring how to say that again? Heckler family. Is that how you say it, EJ? Heckler
yeah,
family up to you,
Keckler.
Father. Heckler family up to you, Father God, as they are preparing for saying goodbye to husband, father, son, uncle, Father, that you just put peace in their lives, that you just wrap your arms around them, give them love that they need, Father God, and peace, and just let them know that you still have them, that you still got their back, Father. I give you the praise and the glory in all this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thanks, Trina.
Thank you. Um, so, a little bit of scripture. Uh, I don't know the verse to this one, but I got a few others. Um, One of the principles that we built the Service Alliance group around was iron sharpens iron, and that comes from the Bible. And I believe it says, as uh, iron sharpens iron, let one man sharpen another. And it's building up the people that are around you. As you get stronger, you build other people up to be stronger, and that's how iron sharpens iron. Uh, we got a few here. I just pulled up a list, and it's wild to me how many times it's mentioned, but I guess it shouldn't be because a few of these are from Paul in the Bible. So he obviously it was a theme. First Thessalonians 5:11. Therefore encourage one another and build up one another, just as you also are doing. Romans 14:19. So then we pursue the things which make for peace and the building up of one another. Hebrews 3:13. But encourage one another day after day, as long as it is still called today, so that none of you will be hardened by the deceitfulness of sin. So there's a few of them. If it's in the Bible, it's important. If it's in there several times, it's
Hmm.
probably really important. So we open the floor here, but I'm gonna let the smarter people talk. So
For us,
yeah,
growing
you guys are the smart
me.
ones. Good morning, Miss Ward. Solid steps to wealth. Uh, Man, what would it be if I had her and you two on here and me?
I don't think that you might as well just not be there.
That's what I was
Let's do
thinking
that.
too. So
Mr. Wardley, can we do that? Just the three of us?
It would be girl
we may
talk.
set that up. We
I've
may
never
set
been
that up.
on a podcast with her. I don't even know if we've actually spoken. I don't think so. So
Well, I know
it'd be fun.
she refers people to you in my name.
She does. She does.
So
Anywho, growing great people. That's one of our core values here. Because we know without people, we cannot truly accomplish what we are set up to accomplish, which is to give owners, service company owners, the freedom that they deserve. Anytime.
Sounds like a date.
Um, and so it's a huge focus for us. And if you don't care about your people, your door is going to be a revolving door. If you
Mhm.
care about your people, then they see it and they care back. Sometimes you have to remind them again. You slap them across the face and be like, "Hey." But you've got to do it because first off, we're called to love.
yeah,
And second off, why not? Why not be nice and help them grow and help maintain and get
might as
people
well.
get people happy.
Yep. Yeah, we did
Amen.
a little survey with our team. We just started building our team this year, so we have two people on our team now. With Joe and I, so we have a whopping team of four, and we're adding a very part-time person next week, which is Joe's mom, to help out with some things in the office too. So that'll be exciting. But we did a little survey based on the five love languages about the language of appreciation at work. And that was really nice to know what made them feel appreciated because I don't know if you guys are familiar with that book. You probably are, but um, you can love somebody the way you want to be loved all day long, and they might not feel appreciated and loved. So that was kind of cool to learn what actually they wanted to receive as an appreciation. So, because, for example, Shelby, she really likes quality time. She likes if we go to lunch or if we do something together. And I am thinking in myself, she sees me all day long every day. Doesn't she get sick of me? Why would she want to spend more time with me? But she does. Like for some reason, she wants to spend more time with me and do something fun. So that was really interesting to me and not something I would have learned if I didn't do that. So I think when you're loving your team, it's important to be really intentional about finding out what makes them feel appreciated and loved.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever
I,
tried that in your teams?
I have tried that quiz and like there's a little test you can put out, not a test, a quiz or assessment. That's it.
Yeah.
Survey. Uh, my guys were like, "This is so stupid. Why would I do it?" And they didn't. Okay. And I'm like, "All right, whatever. Uh, I got to
They
figure
did
it
it
out."
or they didn't?
They didn't.
Oh my
One
gosh.
did, and the rest of them, they're like,
Mhm.
"It's so stupid. Just give me money." And and that's not their actual love language. So I've had to get to know them
Mhm.
more than I already do. Everybody knows on my team we're pretty much all friends, and that's good and not so good
Yeah.
sometimes. So we've been fighting through some of that stuff, building it up. Uh, I said I want to touch on one thing that you guys both mentioned. I was going to say it after Shayna did, and then Jenny said almost the same thing. Uh, how they feel.
Mhm.
I heard a quote before when I was going through. One thing we'll talk about in a bit is the disc profile too. But when I was going through the disc profile training and leadership training years ago, they said people don't always remember what you do, but they always remember how you made them feel,
Mhm.
and that really matters. I've been looking at the love language thing the wrong way as well. Like I want money, but that's not my love language. And I always just think if I give them money, buy them lunch, or give them a gift card or a bonus, everything's going to be cool. Well, it it does to some degree, but it ain't all about that. Uh, so I'm actually one that I enjoy the words of affirmation.
Mhm.
Like I'm a little down on myself a lot. I, I don't feel worthy of praise all the time, but when I get it, it really makes me feel good. And I'm
Mhm.
like, yeah, I want to do that again. Give it to me. And positive reinforcement helps. Uh,
Mhm.
Gifts are cool, but I get awkward at Christmas time. I'm like,
Yeah.
like I want stuff, but I don't know if you got me the right stuff. And how is it going to be on my face? That are you going to know? I get anxious about it. So, just tell me how much you love me, and that helps for me. But anyways, Shayna's got a much bigger team than me and Jenny combined.
Mhm.
So you've done the love languages, I believe, and the disc profile.
Um, well, we don't do the love languages. We do whenever they start, we do ask them, we sort of just ask them, what motivates you? And we do put on there, give them options, for instance, rewards, um, awards. Some people like Jason, he loves awards, which is also words of affirmation, which is his top
Right.
one. Um, some of these people don't have a clue. And so it really truly is about learning them. And I can't. We have 24, 23, 24 people total. I can't learn them by myself. It takes other people in the room. And so, but because of the fact of it's such a large team that we sort of just have to do more of a collaboration. So whether it is a lot of our stuff that we do is just more team building or just fun. So we now have, instead of Spirit Week, we now have Spirit Thursdays. And some Thursdays are like this week was Star Wars. I think a few people put on Star Wars shirts, but
Did
last
you
week
do
was
the buns like we
I
talked about?
didn't. I didn't.
You have the best hair for that.
I know. But last week was pajama day. And so we do have a TikTok out. We're in pajamas
Mhm.
and probably over half of us wore our pajamas. So it was fun. It's just something just to add a little extra flair.
Mhm.
And it really doesn't, like if you talk to them, it has nothing to do with growing great people, but yet it actually really truly does.
Well, it's just fun. Like it's okay to have fun at work. You have to be serious about what you're serving your customers, but you still want to have some fun. We just had a Jackbox night last night for our team building this month, and that was a really fun thing to do. So I bought some Jackbox games. We put it on the big screen in our education space, and we all played Jackbox together and just ate food, and that was kind of a fun thing. But yeah, like
So
doing fun stuff is important.
now, we have quarterly meetings, and this last quarterly meeting, we decided the team needed some rah rah. We have gone through a rough season that quarter, and so they have none of them ever have a clue what we're going to do whenever we have it. But they showed up, and we actually played bags, and um, there was another one. There was a couple games out there. We played a tournament, and I had like 4 or 5 sets of boards out that we split up and we conquered, and we had a winner, and the winner actually got a day off of work with pay.
That's fun.
And so this time though, we wanted to um, grow our people. And have you ever done a board breaking?
I don't know what that
Either
means.
one of you? Okay.
Like in karate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except this one here. So the way that we do it, it's first time Jason and I have been through many of them. But it's the first time we've ever led one. What does that say? Good morning, share Jeremiah 33:3. Call to me and I will answer you and I will tell you great and hidden things that you have not known.
Amen.
Yes.
I didn't mean to
No, you're fine.
correct it.
Anyways, so board breaking. So it really is it's a process. So Jason walks them through putting things on their board. So negative words that people have spoken to them, words that they think about themselves, um, things that just has kept them from growing and from being the person that they want to be. And so like we dimmed down the lights, we got this dramatic music playing and he's walking them through. And a lot of them filled the boards, like literally filled them up of things. And then the other side was the goals that they would love to have, but really in all reality, if they don't fix and break through those things, the negative things I've said to them, will they ever actually truly achieve those goals? And so we go one at a time, which I went first to show them what we're doing because they still had no clue after they wrote on the board what we're doing. One of the girls yelled out, like Jason's like in this very dramatic, very serious moment of this is what we're doing, and she raises her hand and he's like, yes. She's like, are we going to burn the boards? And he's like, let me do my thing. He's like, but I love fire. So, anyways, so they seriously had no clue what we're gonna do. So Jason signals to Andy and Austin. They bring out the cinder block. I put my board on and I break through it. And so then he starts talking about he's got a family member who's been diagnosed with cancer, and so that was his word. He put on his board and he broke through it. And so it signifies when you put on the board that you're breaking through, that you're not going to let those things hold you back. And then we took the boards out and we burned them. But the whole thing was just let's help them break through those mentality of we've got so many that have just been beat down their entire life. I mean, this society of ours, it's just been beat down. You're not worthy. You're
It's a
not
cool
anything.
exercise.
Not never going to be anything. You're never going to be enough. You're ugly. You're fat. You're stupid. And just taking all that head trash and breaking through it because it's not about what was on the board. It's about what's on the other side. And my mom even came. She's what year is she? She'll be 69 this year. And she was afraid. She's like, I'm afraid of this sport. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to pressure you. And then up
I
goes
take
my
it they
board.
were not thick because we don't want anybody to accidentally not break their board, right?
They're like an inch thick.
Wow.
So is that why you have one on medical recovery?
I do not have any. I do have some on medical recovery, but not from the boards. Anyway, Andy was the only one that got hurt. He did like nick something and he was bleeding. He was like,
He's
I'm
the biggest one.
bleeding. I know it. So,
Okay.
but anyways, we had my kids come out. Well, all my kids were there except for Isaiah, who's out of state, and my mom actually came, and Jason's best friend came for it also. And my 11-year-old, who is a foster kid, Imagine what she's gone through in her 11 years of life. She got up and she
Oh
broke the board. And my mom told her later on, she said, "You were my inspiration," because she didn't want to break the board. She was afraid of hurting herself. She
Mm.
said, she told her, she said, "You were my inspiration." And even she got up and she broke that board. She broke through on the first try. So most
yeah.
people did.
Awesome.
We had some that didn't, including my little Noni
Where did you do it?
in our break room in our office.
Inside.
Yep.
I love it.
So growing great people. What can you do to grow great people?
Well, I
That's
might have to steal that idea.
yeah. So man, that's we kind of went a different direction than I had in mind, and it's working out pretty good.
Well, not
Uh,
really, because
like
your
making each
saying
other.
is you have to build the people, and then so the people can build a business. And it's
Oh,
all
I'm
those
not
little tiny
criticizing.
things. No, but it's all those little tiny things that you're doing to build your people. Because if you
Yeah.
don't build them, if you don't take care of them and you don't maintain them and you don't tell them that they're worth something, they're not going to build the business.
No, and you're right because you actually are building up people,
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't talk about anything about how it relates to the business, and that's where my mind was, and you made it so much bigger
Yeah.
and so much more important. Uh, so get into the business side.
Yeah.
Uh, one thing that I love talking about and paying attention to, and it sometimes gets controversial to some people. I love looking at strengths and weaknesses, and it's funny because like when you go to an interview for a job and they're like, "Tell me your biggest strength," and then tell
Mm-hmm.
me your biggest weakness, and you don't want to share a weakness, right? So you try to share a weakness that became a strength, so you kind
Mm-hmm.
of got two for one, right? Uh, it really came apparent to me when I was my in my first supervisor job, and I'm looking at this group of people, and I don't know what they can and can't do, and how we're going to accomplish this goal that they gave me when they hired me. And it, I kind of had to do the things that I do now, but I didn't have all the experience and knowledge about it at that time. So I just had to watch and observe and talk to and figure out who they are, what they do, and then in my head I had to figure out what's their strengths and what's their weaknesses. And people are afraid of their weaknesses, but I feel like if you know what your weakness is, it gives you power over it. Kind of like you guys did with the board breaking. The things that hold you back, you have to get through them. And I own my weaknesses. And if we own the weakness, we can then go out and do the things that you got to do to make them into strengths or at least definitely not weaknesses, right? And when you have a team, you can use each other's strengths to build up each other's weaknesses. I think it's awesome what a team can do together. Like when I hired my first person, like by myself, my weaknesses are just my weaknesses. We suck right there. And then I hire somebody else, and maybe they're stronger in that area,
Hmm.
A- and then their weakness don't matter because I'm probably strong in that area. And then you hire another one, and as long as you're hiring great people and treating them the way you guys discussed, it gets stronger as it gets bigger. And
Yeah.
you can look at your weakest link, but don't cut it necessarily.
Right.
Build it up.
Well,
Surround it by strong links.
it's funny that you were saying how you guys complement each other in your team and your with your strengths and weaknesses. We did and you mentioned the disc profile. So we all did the disc profile, and there's four of us on the team right now, and we each are a different letter of the disc. And I was saying, I really think that's cool because that means that when we're solving a problem or we're having a discussion or I don't know, we're trying to make a decision for the company, everybody's going to have a slightly different point of view just naturally because of their personality. And doesn't that make for the best decision making? Oh, that's
It,
nice, Mark. Yeah,
it
Mike,
absolutely
that
does.
was sweet. I do
But that
too.
was, I was gonna say that was after his other one. Did you put that one up there? That
Yeah, but he was making a pun
I
because
know.
he was saying
I'm
the word
no,
bored.
the one
Which one?
before that.
Yeah,
There you go. I'm bored of this story.
very funny.
So
Um,
funny. Anyway, sorry.
but yeah, I think it's really cool to look at, not even in the disc profile, none of them is really a strength or weakness. They just are what they are. But looking at all of those pieces of a human being, you know, your strengths, your weaknesses, your personality type, how you feel loved, all those things, it's really kind of cool if they're not all aligned because you don't want everybody to be the same on your team because I don't want everybody to think exactly the way I do. I want them to challenge me when I have an idea so that
Yeah.
we can come up with the best idea for the company and not just what I think is the great idea that day because I have a lot of ideas. So I need somebody to balance all my ADD out a little bit and rein me back in.
Sounds like TK. TK has all these visionary ideas, and he just spews them out, and we welcome it. And then we got to pick through it and
Right.
figure out what to do with it.
So
So
that's me and Andy for sure. Like I'm the visionary. I'm like seeing these things like I'm like, dude, Andy, and Andy's like the organizer saying, Shayna, no, this no. Or Shayna, okay, fine. I will figure out how to make that happen. Because I'm
Mhm.
like, we're going to do this.
Well, I have to
like a
go to
cheerleader.
Maryland once a month. And so I'm in my car for like 7 hours. By the time I arrive there, I've got all these things in my head. So I had to buy myself a tape recorder because or not a tape recorder, but a digital voice recorder so that I could tell myself all these things because nobody's in the car with me and I can't write while I'm going up 95. So yeah, but
Especially 95. Uh, so, for those that don't know the disc profiles, Shayna is our resident expert. So, why don't you run through what that means
Yep.
and what you do with it?
Yep. So there is it's a process. Basically, it's sort of a personality type of test that we actually for us we before we hire someone we have them do it. Um, and some people know how to fudge them, but for the most part, once you get them in here for interviews, a lot of times you can tell whether they have fudged it or not. So each of the letters DISC stand for something, and you're always looking at their top two. So D is dominant, direct, driver. A lot of owners are Ds. And they can also be a bit too dominant and too direct. And so
And
sometimes you
another
have
D
to have
word that we're not going to say.
fine. So you have to have some of those other people around you to help with that. And so we'll go through that one. The I are the fun people. They love to have fun. They love to have party. They're typically the ones like if someone is um, likes to have parties, and so they arrange parties often, and they are the planner. They're making sure that the bounce houses are there for the kids, and all the food look like themed. They're typically I's. They typically drive the very fast, fun cars, bright yellow Mustangs or what is it that Mike has? The Corvette
Camaro.
Camaro. He doesn't have a Corvette.
Mike is
Camaro.
definitely not an I, though.
No, that's
He's
probably one of his
pretending.
higher ones underneath his C that he is though.
Oh, he's
So
definitely a D, too.
yeah, he's or
well, I
but
found it interesting.
he's high. He's got some high C because of his car. Because a lot of times our cars, you could look at the type of cars and you can tell what their one of the top ones are. The S are the sensitive people, so they typically make really good CSRs because they care about the people. I spent 18 years on the phone and I really could care less. Like I knew how to fake it, but when someone would call and say, my dishwasher is broken, and I'm like, I don't really care. You're gonna have to wait the 2 weeks. I just don't care. Um, and so, so
So,
you
call
know,
my
or
office help if you want empathy on the
yes,
phone.
yeah.
Well, she's not
So
answering the
Just
phone,
don't
thank
let,
God,
I'm,
right?
tell
but
Shayna not to
I
answer the
wouldn't
phone.
say that. I wouldn't say that. Like we've all had them. The lady whose washing. I had. my washing machine is broken. I have an infant. And like your infant has one change of clothing? But I didn't say it. That's what's going through my head. But anyways, so S's are typically the more caring and sensitive. Jason is the caring and sensitive. So he really truly compliments me. Like he has to bring me down to a level sometimes. He comes in, sometimes he's too caring and too sensitive. And I'm like, Jason, like let's bring up some D in you. Um, and he'll go out and be like, you have not noticed about this about your team. You have not been out there enough. I'm like, I go out there like 2 times a day. Like I think that's enough. I can't handle too much of this. Um, and then C's. So C's are the cautious, caring. Um, they're list makers. That's
Scientist.
definitely Chinny. They love making a list and checking it off.
Yeah.
They are typically very organized. The higher the C they are, the more organized they can be. We do not put high like 40 C's on the phone though, because 40 C's on the phone cannot handle the chaos of the call. They want order on the phone. And people don't always give them order. And so anyways, so yeah, it's just sort of how you work in life, and it tells us how we can talk to people. It really truly helped me be able to know that I just can't go out there and say like, okay, do this, because although I meant well with it, I'm going to make half of them cry because they're high S's.
Mhm. So Sheena, I have a question for you because we encountered something a little different. We have kind of it's a quick disc assessment, but it's actually a surprise. I think this one was the most accurate one I've done, even though it was super quick.
Okay.
What do you do when somebody is a real balance of all of them? Like they don't really have a high anything. They're just
Yep.
kind of, I mean, they went, one of them is the highest, but maybe they're really even.
So we actually have one. She's been with us for, I think, 2 years now. That is almost exactly even across the board. And when she first did it, when we brought Disc in, I went up to her and I said, "You fight with yourself, don't you?" And she's
Mm,
like, "Yes." Because they want to be organized, but yet they want to just be fun and free and just do
mm,
whatever they want. They want to be sensitive, but yet in other instances they really truly just don't care. And so it's almost like a lot of them, they have a war inside of their head on
mm.
that instance. So
So the lady that presented, so every once a month, I have a free networking class workshop that I do with other female business owners in my town. And so usually I'm presenting, but sometimes I have a guest presenter so they don't have to keep hearing me talking all the time. This time we had a guest presenter who is certified in DISC. And so she offered a perspective that I hadn't thought of before, which was how you can try to make a snap assessment of your customers and then offer them and cater to them based on their DISC, where they are on the DISC, which I thought was a really interesting way to look
yeah,
at it. And one of the things she said was like for your C and your or I'm sorry, your S and your I people, those are going to be the people that are asking so many questions. So like if you're doing appliance service for somebody that's one of those personality types, those are the people that are, you want to explain everything you're doing, let them know that you're certified in something, tell them that you're going to do things to protect their floor and like that, you know how to dispose of whatever chemicals you're using or, things like that. Like you're going to talk to them about every little thing. But if they're a D, they really just want you to come in there and fix something and then let them be on their way and
yeah,
do the rest of their day. And if they're an I, they might be that person that is like literally standing behind you, having a conversation with you about everything that they did that week, but nothing about they don't really care about the appliance. They just want to be your friend. And I just thought that was such an interesting way to
yeah,
look at your customers. And even I've been talking with Shelby about thinking about some different scripting based
yep,
on like how you can assess the person on the other end of the phone in a really quick way and then script how you handle
yeah.
that phone call.
Have you ever gotten on a phone call and like the phone call goes so fast and you get off and you're like, what just happened? Those are typically the D's.
Mm-hmm.
And if you string out that phone call and you make it an 8 or 10 minute phone calls, they are typically mad at the end of the phone call because you just wasted an additional 8 minutes of their life.
Right.
Um, whereas the S's, like they're going to drag that phone call out.
I
We're
had
going to
a
ask a lot of questions. And then the C, like I'm a scientist by trade. I want to know why it is what it is and what you're doing and if you really know what you're talking about. And
Yeah.
I want to evaluate that whole thing and make sure it is all planned out. And
Yeah.
I know when you're coming and I know exactly how to prepare my house for you and stuff like that. So I thought that was we think about the disc for our team often and how we interact with people close to us, but it's really interesting to try to get good at assessing people in the moment really quickly and then be able to cater to that customer, because then they're going to love you and they're going to be customer for life.
Yep.
absolutely. I like how you flipped the script on this one, bringing it to the
We're good at
customers.
that.
Yeah.
So, uh, we usually talk about relational versus transactional customers, and as you're describing the type of people with four characteristics, I can see how two would fit in relational and two would fit in transactional, and we kind of do that too. Now we start off on the relational side because that's the kind of business we are. We prefer relational customers that appreciate the interaction and building a relationship. We want them to remember us. But you can quickly tell if that's annoying to somebody,
Right.
and you have to read it quick because you have to change the tactic. You come in fun and maybe a little joke, half joke, just to break the ice a little bit, and they're like, "Yes, I mean the washer's over there, so this is what's going on." Okay, let's just solve your problem,
Yeah.
and and okay, this is we don't have to do all the extra stuff. We're going to do some of the things. We're going to tell them what happened when it's time, but you don't have to tell them the story while they're sitting there. They won't be sitting there. Uh, so that's fun. Uh, I have I have a fun story here uh, about what Shayna was talking about. Uh,
Oh,
so story
story
time.
time. Oh, okay, go.
Uh, this is one of the reasons why I started to realize I needed somebody else to answer my phones. Okay. Um, I'm kind of, I think I'm naturally a D and a C, but I'm not very organized. Uh, but I learned how to be like an S sometimes, right? And just like Shayna did, uh, you're in a position where you have to adapt or you lose.
Hmm.
And I've learned how to slow my conversation down so I can speak clearly and effectively and make sure I care. When sometimes I don't. It's I'm sorry, but I do care. But come on, get on with the topic, right?
Mm.
And here I am doing it. So I had this customer call me, and my wife was answering the phones, but she wasn't answering the phone at that moment, right? So I had to answer it, and I was at my home office, and it's an old guy from the country, which is where I live, and some of them just go on and on and on about everything, and it drove me nuts. I said, "What's your name?" He gave me his name and tried to tell me who he was related to, so I would know who he was, and I don't. Uh, and then I said, "What's your address?" I mean, we're this far in. We know he has a problem. Give me your name, your address, your phone number, and then we start talking, right? I got the address, and this guy talked for probably 3.5 minutes, and none of the words that came out of his mouth was an address or even a street name. And I said, "Do you have a mailbox?" Wrong question.
You have a house.
Wrong question, because then he started describing the mailbox to me and where it is on his property and how you're going to find it. what
You're gonna
color it is,
pass the red barn, go down the road another mile, and turn
everything
left.
except for the number on the mailbox. And I finally said, "Is there a number on the mailbox? What is that number?" And I'm like, I'm just beating my head because I was busy. I didn't have time to take the phone call, but I did because I had to. And I mean, we was 6, 7 minutes in by the time I got to his phone number, and
Uh-huh.
he don't have a cell phone, so he can't take text. You got to call it. I ain't calling this dude. I ain't. We'll just show up. Uh, I think at the end I told him, we're gonna have to call him back, and I had my wife call him back. Like, here's his address. I have his address.
That's it. That's
I'm
all I
done.
got.
I'm done. And we talk about that. Knowing your strengths and weaknesses. Shayna and I have had explained how we're kind of D's, but we learn how to be something else in the moment. I can't do that. I can't go that far. I care. I can care, and I really do sometimes. But the
Sometimes.
dishwasher not working really is not an emergency. Maybe if it's coming up
But
on Thanksgiving,
what are they
I don't
gonna have
care.
to do? She's gonna have to go buy paper plates.
Or wash her
Yeah,
dishes.
I had that. I'm like, I'm gonna have to go buy paper plates. What am I supposed to do? And I'm like, are you gonna throw away your pots and pans too? Like,
Well, the best one I think that I've heard from Joe in a while is the Instahot not working. Like he literally said, "Do you have a microwave? Do you have like a tea kettle? Could you put it on the stove?" But like for some people, they get so used to something, it feels like an emergency to them, but it's definitely a first world problem.
yeah. And, and the tying it back is you got to know your strengths and you got to know your weaknesses, and you have to
yeah,
build around it. I
Hmm.
know it was very obvious to me. Like, I knew I didn't like answering the phones, but that day it was very obvious to me that I do not want to answer the phones, and I
Well, it's not
dread
serving your
asking that
business.
question all the time.
Like whether you want to do it or not, if it's that miserable, then you're not serving the business by doing it. You're not
Right?
like that is not the person the customer wants to get on the phone
Yeah. My wife was sitting and talked to some of those people for 25 minutes or something. And she wasn't paid by the hour. She was barely paid. Uh, and she would enjoy it sometimes. And then there were sometimes where the stay at home, work from home mom uh, ideal she had in her head that this is kind of cool. I'll do all the house cleaning and stuff I want to do. And sometimes I'll answer the phone. And when we got busier, it was like, no, maybe you'll do the dishes or something.
with.
Uh, you're not going to clean the whole house. You just don't have time. And that's when she started to get aggravated. And it's like, okay, this ain't her strong suit either,
Hmm.
because she
Well,
was
she
really
get
sweet and
dedicated.
nice, but she didn't really want to deal with it. And that's why you hire somebody like my office help.
Mm.
Shayna hires people that love that stuff.
Right.
and doesn't do it herself anymore.
And
There
that's
you
what they're
go.
doing the whole day. That's their dedicated responsibility is answering the phone. So if you're pulled in so many different directions, like you were and like your wife was, EJ, then you can't do a good job. Even if you want to, you feel stressed. And that person's getting a stressed out person on the other end of the phone.
So know what your team's weaknesses are, because if they're weak in a position you've put them in, they're probably not performing well. Uh, so in closing here, we're gonna wrap up with some of the business. If you see up top, a 1 day business conference, we're calling it the ABCs, the Alliance Business Conference, in Richmond, Virginia, on December 2nd. Uh, who is this for, and what is it? That's what we want to talk about a little bit more. We realized we wasn't really clear, and what we're used to in this industry is a conference where you go and there's trainings and big big time instructors, and you're getting a lesson. You're sitting in a room watching a PowerPoint, and those are great. I get a lot out of them. That's not what this is. Okay, this is more of a business leaders workshop retreat type thing. Uh, us guys are putting together presentations of topics that are relevant to running a small and growing business that maybe get overlooked in the discussion sometimes. And we got a list of classes, sessions uh, that we're going to start a conversation with some great content. And then we will break out into little workshops. So we want to work through these issues and these topics. This is very much an interactive experience, not a sit and watch. This is be part of it. Come be part of it, network, come together, kind of like a 1 day mastermind, like minded people coming together, working on problems, trying to figure out how to get through this stuff. If you're in a spot in your business where you're stuck in some place, this will be for you. Now, it is on the East Coast in Richmond, Virginia. This is not something you fly across the country for. Okay. This is something you drive a few hours. Uh, if you really want to do it, you can fly an hour, but it's 1 day. It's a Saturday. So you can travel on Friday, be ready Saturday morning, and head back out Sunday if you want. We're going to do some hanging out, get together, happy hour type stuff, I guess, after where we can get to know each other more informally after we solved all the world's problems throughout the day. And, we're going to have lunch and just a lot of good time. So if that sounds like something you're into, go to the link above at servicealliancegroup.com. There's a banner at the top of the page. Mike made it look really clear. You'll know where it is as soon as you go to the website and register. Okay, we're all going to be there, and that's where all the cool kids hang out. So if you want to go and be one of the cool kids and solve some problems, this is the place to go. So if you
Okay.
have any questions, let us know. Hit up one of us on the on Messenger, or you can email info@servicealliancegroup.com and ask your question. Uh, we'd love to see everybody there. We got lots of people that we have in mind that can benefit from this, and that is the mission that we have. Is we lead small businesses ourselves. We have struggled through these experiences that you're going through, or you will, or maybe you just got through them too. Uh, and we intend to share our experiences that we have come through. Iron sharpens iron. You want to
Yep.
get better, you hang around with people that are winning, and that's what we're doing.
Yep.
We're not winning necessarily, but I want to
Mhm.
win and I want to hang out with winners. And what I have accomplished, I want to share, and the rest of the guys are the same.
Yep.
So you guys are both coming, right?
Well, I wish I could. We're going to a wedding in New Jersey,
You're
so
fired.
we will have to miss it, but I hope you do it again.
I believe Jason is coming.
Jenny's gone.
What happened to her? What happened to her? I gotta fix my camera. There she's back.
Oh, I got punished.
I'm kidding.
Jason is going. I will not be.
Okay. Shayna's gonna stay home and be a D. Um, I'm kidding.
Take care of our 11-year-old.
So,
The roost.
anyways, today's Friday. It's still a work day. It's a day that ends with Y. Go out there and do something that matters. Change the world. Fix something.
This
Who
is
do we
what I'm
have?
fixing right here. This is my little.
Oh, It's the new one.
It's the
Hi,
new one.
Victoria.
My
Hi.
friend Jenny says hi. EJ says hi. She said hello, persons.
Good, good. So go out there and do something that matters, and see if you can help somebody. Lift them up. Say something
Amen.
nice. Tell them you love them. Give them some encouraging words.
EJ, you're doing amazing.
That's it. Jenny, your
Yeah.
turn.
I loved spending time with the two of you this morning. That's my gratitude.
Oh,
And my other gratitude is that I'm finally done submitting my tax stuff. Thank God. I've never done it this late in my life. Hallelujah.
welcome to
Jenny, this is
business
supposed to
time.
be all about EJ right now.
Oh, sorry. EJ, love you,
I heard
man.
what I needed to hear. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Oh, well, we're still live.
I
don't know where he went.
don't know either. Should we hang out a little longer?
I don't know. We're gonna just move my camera over a little bit there.
That's hilarious. I'm gonna have to let EJ know because we don't have control of the StreamYard, so that's interesting.
So if we both hang up, does it close out the StreamYard?
I don't know. Well, I'm gonna call EJ and we're gonna have him on a phone call.
If there's anybody even left on here, if you have any questions and you want to talk about EJ, now is the time. Oh.
He meant EJ.
I screwed that up. I pushed the wrong button.
Well, that was funny. You're still doing a great job, EJ. Let me